Moving across the rocks and shells of the ocean floor, we find another deceptively small creature, the tiny blue-ringed octopus. Now, its primary defense is a brilliant, flashing visual alarm system. When those vivid blue rings suddenly intensify and flash across its tiny frame, that is a blaring, undeniable message to the rest of the ocean. Do not mistake my size for weakness.
The stonefish uses a two-part evolutionary marvel. Camouflage gets them most of the way there, sure, but the second half of this defensive system is a brutal backup plan just in case they're discovered or stepped on. They have these hidden dorsal spines that act exactly like biological landmines. They are pressure-activated. Step on one, and those spines instantly raise up to inject a powerful venom. It's a passive but perfectly engineered dual-layered defense. To understand how impossible this is, we first have to understand what the cuttlefish actually is. As a cephalopod mollusk, it's a relative of the octopus and squid, and its basic biology is just incredibly alien to us. Get this, it runs on blue, copper-based blood, which is pumped by 3 separate hearts. But pay close attention to that last point. It has a massive distributed nervous system with about 500 million neurons. That is more than any other invertebrate out there, aside from the octopus, organized across a central brain and large subsidiary clusters that operate pretty much on their own.
Moving out into the open blue water, it's time to bust a common myth about a very famous fish. You see a swordfish accelerating after a school of fish, and you naturally assume its elongated bill is a biological spear, right? Like it's dueling giant predators? But the scientific reality is way more practical. It's actually a highly evolved slashing tool. They whip it back and forth to injure and stun schooling fish during high-speed hunts. So it's a precision instrument of geometry, not a medieval jousting lance.
And having a single photoreceptor type means one thing: monochromatic vision. The cuttlefish should only be able to detect differences in light intensity, not wavelength. Basically, it should see the entire world exclusively in shades of gray. It shouldn't know the difference between red and green. Yet, when measured in lab conditions, the color accuracy of its camouflage is statistically indistinguishable from animals that actually have functional color vision. A completely colorblind animal is producing perfect color matches against backgrounds it can't even see in color. How is that even possible?
Returning to the warm, tropical coral structures, we run into a fascinating evolutionary juxtaposition. The venomous sea snake navigates these reefs equipped with highly adapted, incredibly potent venom fangs specifically designed to hunt fish and eels. But right alongside this predatory superpower is a stark biological limitation. They are reptiles. They are biologically tethered to the surface, forced to swim all the way up for air. It's a really beautiful example of nature's trade-offs.
We basically have a duel between two competing theories. On one side, Hypothesis 1 focuses on central eye processing, specifically the cuttlefish's incredibly bizarre W-shaped pupil. On the other side, Hypothesis 2 suggests something even wilder: distributed skin sensing, meaning the skin itself is reading the environment. Let's break these down.
Sometimes, an adaptation scales up so much it impacts an entire geography. Take the crown-of-thorns starfish. It slowly creeps across the reef, absolutely covered in hundreds of venomous spines that successfully repel almost all predators. However, their specific diet, eating the living coral itself, means that when their populations boom, it triggers dramatic ecosystem-level devastation. Here, a simple biological defense mechanism scales up to literally reshape entire underwater landscapes.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an incredible social dynamic. Male cuttlefish competing for females produce a mind-bending, split-body display. On the right side, facing the female he's courting, he flashes a full, aggressive courtship display. But simultaneously, on his left side, facing a rival male, he produces calm stripes, literally mimicking the appearance of a female to deceive his rival. Two entirely different, opposing signals displayed at the exact same time on the exact same body.
Now, all of this incredible physical hardware is nothing without the cognitive software running it. In a fascinating 2021 study published by researchers from the University of Cambridge, cuttlefish were actually given a modified version of the famous Stanford marshmallow test. They were offered a less preferred food immediately, or a highly preferred food if they could just wait. And guess what? The cuttlefish successfully delayed gratification. Furthermore, the ones that showed better self-control actually performed better on completely separate learning tasks. This kind of link between impulse control and learning ability had previously only been demonstrated in primates and clever corvids like crows, yet here we are, seeing it in an invertebrate with a totally independent evolutionary history. They also use this masterful skin control for complex communication. Take the visually stunning flamboyant cuttlefish, for example. It completely abandons camouflage to display vivid, pulsing yellow, white, and red patterns as it literally walks across the ocean floor on its arms. It's actually the only cuttlefish species known to be genuinely toxic rather than just venomous, making these bright displays an honest, unmistakable warning signal to predators. And this next behavior brilliantly illustrates their cognitive flexibility, the split-body mating display. A male cuttlefish will purposefully position himself right between a female and a rival male. On the side facing the female, he displays the aggressive, vivid male courtship pattern. But on the side facing the rival male, he simultaneously displays a calm, female mimicking pattern. He is actively courting a mate on one side while completely deceiving a rival on the exact same body at the exact same time. Now, to keep that massive neural network running, it has a cardiovascular system that's equally wild. The cuttlefish actually has blue blood. Instead of using iron like we do, its oxygen transport system uses copper-based hemocyanin, which gives the fluid this vivid blue color. And to pump that vivid blue blood, it uses 3 distinct hearts. 2 branchial hearts specifically serve the gills to pick up oxygen, while 1 systemic heart pumps the oxygenated blood throughout the rest of the body. And this is actually a characteristic shared across its entire lineage, so octopuses and squids function the exact same way. As we wrap up our explainer today, I just want to take a moment to sit back and fully appreciate the sheer biological spectacle we've uncovered. Just think about what is happening beneath the waves right now. 10 million individual elastic sacs of pigment flexing and contracting on direct neural command. Papillae rising from perfectly smooth skin to mimic jagged rocks in a fraction of a second. A creature rendering a completely new visual reality across its body in 200 milliseconds, calculating complex viewing angles, processing intense social deception, and completely outperforming the most advanced optical technology humanity has ever engineered. Because right here, smack in the exact center of the frame, a cuttlefish is now deactivating its camouflage. Just look at this reveal. It was perfectly invisible. Literally every single color pattern and 3-dimensional texture of that reef was reproduced across its entire body surface with staggering accuracy. And as we see it fully revealed in all its glory, notice its totally unique body architecture. It's got this oval mantle surrounded by a continuous undulating fin running down both sides. That fin allows it to just hover there in multiple directions with practically no visible movement, or it can dart precisely backward, forward, even sideways. Up front, you've got its 8 arms arranged around a central beak, keeping those 2 longer feeding tentacles safely tucked away. I mean, it is an absolute masterclass in biological engineering.
But there's a complementary hypothesis too. Researchers looking at cuttlefish skin found opsin proteins, the exact same light-sensitive molecules found in our retinas, embedded directly in the skin cells all over its body. This implies that millions of local points on the cuttlefish's skin might be independently sensing the wavelength of light falling on them and adjusting their camouflage on the spot. They could be bypassing the visual system and central brain entirely, a distributed color sensing network right on the skin.
To truly appreciate how remarkable this system is, let's just compare it to our own technology for a second. The most advanced adaptive camouflage currently in military development can achieve maybe a 70% visual match to a highly controlled background, and it takes several seconds to adapt. Meanwhile, the cuttlefish achieves a 95% visual match to an arbitrary, completely natural background in just 200 milliseconds. Triggered by a single brain command, a wave of transformation sweeps across its entire body, perfectly coordinating all 10 million chromatophores, iridophores, and papilla in the literal blink of a human eye.
Think about the cognitive complexity required for this. The male isn't just reacting, he is actively modeling what 2 different observers are perceiving from 2 different physical positions, all while producing context-dependent signals for each of them simultaneously. This level of audience awareness is completely unprecedented outside of vertebrates. It raises incredibly difficult questions about what is truly going on inside that 500 million neuron brain.
But get this, the visual system might not even be acting alone. Researchers at the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole discovered something else that's just extraordinary. Opsin proteins embedded directly into the cuttlefish's skin cells all over its body. Now, opsins are light-sensitive molecules normally found only inside eyes. This suggests the absolutely mind-blowing possibility that the skin itself has a direct light-sensing capability. It might be providing wavelength information directly to the camouflage control system without even routing it through the brain's visual center at all.